Hey guys, so a few days ago I went and saw the new Wes Anderson film, Isle of Dogs. I have been kind of not quiet about my opinion on Wes Anderson and his films. If you've seen any of my past reviews of the last couple months, I've talked about this movie when I've gotten this trailer, and the fact that I know it's not a popular thing to say, but and a lot of people probably gonna give me shit for saying this, but I'm not the biggest Wes Anderson fan. I know that's like sacrilege if you're a fucking film buff, because I mean, if you have your own fucking opinion anymore, goddamn, you should be burned at the fucking stake. It's one of those things. It's like if you like Wes Anderson movies, more power to you. I mean, more credit to you. He has like this fan base. I've tried to get into his movies constantly. I've tried and tried and tried, and every time I go see one of his movies, I just am left with the same fucking feeling, and that is, it's a movie that I saw, and I probably won't fucking remember much about. I don't remember much about Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't remember much about Steve Zissou, that Life Aquatic Steve Zissou. I think the last really movie I saw of his that was theatrically released to my theater was Fantastic Mr. Fox. I'm not joking, because my theater really does not get any of his films, barely, and I'm surprised we got this one, but we did, and I was not particularly looking forward to this one. Basically, because I'm not the biggest fan of his or his movies. I agree. Like, he is. I'm not saying he's a horrible director or anything. He's just, his style of movies just does not work for me whatsoever. Like the dry sense of humor, the random shit that just happens in his movies. It's just like, I'm not the biggest fan of his movies. And like I said, if you love his movies, to each his own. So I wasn't really dying to go see this movie, but I was like, I said in my review, if it does come to my theater, I will be fair and biased and go see it. And I did. And this is going to come off as a surprise to people after what I just said, but I actually like this movie. I can't even believe this. Halfway through this movie, I'm like, you know what? This is one of the best Wes Anderson movies I've seen ever. At least in a long time. I remember liking Royal Tenenbaums. I seen that movie, and I liked Royal Tenenbaums. I think that was the last one I really kind of enjoyed, but I barely remember anything about it. But this one I actually did like. I like this better than like Fantastic Mr. Fox or shit like that. For some reason, I just like, the humor worked for me in this, the story worked for me in this, everything. It was kind of funny when I was going up to the ticket counter to see this movie. I said one for Isle of Dogs, and a girl at the ticket counter was like, you gotta tell me how, like, they always see me all the time, and they come in there all the time, and they're like, man, you gotta tell me what you thought about that movie. She said, I always walk in during the most random times in that movie, and it's all very fucking random. Like, just a lot of random shit. And yeah, I can see that. If you're just kind of walking in at random times, you're like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? It is a Wes Anderson movie. It's like every other Wes Anderson movie I've ever seen, but for some reason this one really worked for me. Now, I haven't seen really, like I said, I would be honest, like, the movies I have seen, like I think the last one really I did see was, like I said, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I didn't see like Grand Budapest Hotel, or what was the other one? What was that fucking other one? I can't remember. But anyways, I can't remember. But anyways, I don't know how this compares to those films. And now, like, the reason why I didn't go see those movies realistically was that they never got released to my theater, so that was why I didn't go see them. I would have seen them if they would have, but I wasn't, like, searching out for those fucking movies. But now that I have liked this movie, I'm kind of like, maybe I need to give him another shot. Like, it was like, this is one of those movies that kind of made me rethink my opinion on Wes Anderson, going, maybe I should, give him another shot. This movie, like I said, one of the things I love about Wes Anderson, I will never take away from him, is like, he loves to use a lot of practical effects in his movies. I love that, like, he uses miniatures, and in this, he uses, it's a stop motion animated film, and it's really fucking well made, beautifully made. It should probably be one of the contenders for best animated feature next year. It's just like, he knows how, like, this. I love that he uses a lot of art forms in his films that are pretty much a dying art form, like stop motion animation and miniatures, and he really does, like, he has a love for, like, old school filmmaking, and I love that. That's one thing I'll never take away from him. You got, like, a lot of the same cast you've seen in a lot of his movies. You got Bryan Cranston. I think the only other one is Bryan Cranston, who I liked in this movie. Like the interaction between the four main dogs, which are Bryan Cranston, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, who else? Jeff Goldblum, Bill Murray, and Edward Norton. And I forget who the other one was played by. God damn, I can't remember off the top of my head. But they were all really funny together. Love the interactions. Like, one of my favorite scenes of the first bit of this movie was when they do the whole introduction, and they tell, like, they establish the world that you're about to be put in the middle of, and after that they show the main dogs on this trash island, and a big thing of garbage falls from the sky, and they're like, the main pack of dogs that you follow throughout the movie, and another pack of dogs are about to fight for this, like, bag of garbage. They're about to ready to fight each other for this bag of garbage, and they're like ready to sit there, like, growling at each other. And then one of them, I think it's Edward Norton, goes, "Wait a minute, why don't we look at what is in this bag before we and figure out if we want to fight for it or not?" And so they open the bag and they go, "Okay, what we got here? Rotten sardines, fish with maggots on it. Yeah, let's fight for it." And they'll fight for it. Like, I was like, that's pretty fucking funny. That just, like, the line delivery was fucking hilarious. I love that part of the movie. It is this really sweet story about, it's kind of like fucking with Sergeant Stubby, which I saw, like, weirdly enough, two movies I saw in a row about animated movies about a boy and his dog, and this is another one that this is probably, I think, better animated and stuff like that, but I still like Sergeant Stubby too. But this one probably, I think everybody would say, is a lot better and a lot funnier. I would agree. Even though that, like, but this movie has a very sweet story to it. Like, you want to see this poor kid, like, he's looking for his dog on this trash island, and you're following the adventures. And I give this movie credit. One of the weirdest things about this fucking movie for me was, I don't know who they're gearing this movie towards. I'm thinking kids, but realistically, this is not a kids movie. If you are, like, wanting to take your kids to see this movie, kind of know what you're getting into before you see it. I'm not saying it's like anything that will traumatize them or anything. There's a little bit of violence here and there in that fucking movie. There's some government conspiracies. There's to fucking euthanize all dogs. To Jesus, what else is in this fucking movie? Like, there's a lot of weird shit going on in this movie, but it's not exactly for kids. Like I said, it's been a few days, so you gotta give it. And it's like, man, that is one weird thing about this movie. I don't understand who the hell they were gearing this movie towards at all. And and, like, I got, like, kids trailers in front of this, so I'm like, they have to be gearing this towards little kids, even though it's PG-13. It does earn its PG-13. I'm not saying it's the most violent movie ever fucking made. Or, like I said, the humor in this movie fucking worked. And if the humor works, then that's a plus. Like I said, I'm actually starting to think maybe I need to go back and watch some of his other movies that have came out recently, and maybe I'll give him a second chance. Like I said, maybe my opinion will change on him. He's like one of those directors, like not I don't I don't. He has a certain style that some people like, some people don't, and like I love my favorite director of all time is Quentin Tarantino. I know some people like him, some people don't. I understand if you don't. So to understand that I'm not the biggest fan of Wes Anderson. Don't fucking crucify me for it. But like I said, I'm fair and I'm honest, and I like this movie. This was a surprise for me. I actually probably one of my favorite films of the year. I actually really enjoyed the hell out of this movie that much. Recommend it. From a non-Wes Anderson fan, I recommend it. So yeah, check it out. Yeah, like I said, it's been a few days, and I think there's a lot more I want to talk about, but like, if you like a movie enough, you're like, yeah, yeah, like I said, I don't want to spoil much about it. Like I said, I like the movie. It's good. Go check it out. As far as new trailers, I got like I said, I got a lot of like kids trailers in front of this. The only new one I got was in front of this was this movie called Eighth Grade. Tell me if you haven't heard this one before. It's about a movie. Eighth Grade is a movie about an awkward teenage girl going through eighth grade and having her own teenage problems, and she has like in this one she has a YouTube show. It's like, yeah, I haven't seen that done a million fucking times before. An awkward teenage comedy that seems to come out every fucking 2 months. Looks like Lady Bird, but if it was for the YouTube generation. It does literally looks like that. And it's getting critical acclaim. And like, yeah, so did Lady Bird. So I'm tired of the fucking teenage comedy drama shit. It's not that original, people. You can only beat a fucking dead horse so many goddamn times, but man, it didn't look that bad. But it's just like, I'm like, can we do something else? It's like my stance with these movies. Yeah, that's as far as trailers go. I do have one more review I gotta do, and until then, I'll talk to you guys later.